Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Ika Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Ika Balsetta.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Passion for the Pastime here on March 5th, Wednesday, March 5th. We got a lot to talk about today because the first cuts were made earlier today. We'll get into that as far as who is still in Scottsdale, or I guess they're still technically in Scottsdale, but they're sent down to minor league camp. So we have a lot on that. We had Kyle Harrison go out there and pitch his first start of the spring. He got out there after Logan Webb last week, where he got his first action of swing, or first action of spring, rather, when he went after Logan Webb last Friday. He got his first start today. Didn't go as well as everyone would have hoped. But again, you have to remember back, you don't want to over-exaggerate, and you don't want to understate it. But also the fact of the matter is Kyle Harrison currently is behind everyone else at camp because he was dealing with that illness early on in spring. So we'll talk about all of that. You see, I got the River Cats hat on because we're going to find out who's going to be on the River Cats here shortly in the next couple of weeks with all of these cuts definitely coming. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Passion for the Pastime. I just heard from Rockin'. He will not be attending tonight's episode, so shout out to Rockin' New Era. And my bad, I kept calling Rockin' Ernie yesterday because I was not aware that he was the what's it called? The biggest fan for Just Your Opinion Man, the award that they give out, right? It was Rockin'. So he went the whole name change with me that looked like Ernie. So I thought I was talking to Ernie the whole damn time, which I was talking to Ernie, but a different Ernie. So anyway, yes, technically he is an Ernie. Yeah. So I wasn't necessarily wrong, but I thought I was talking to somebody completely different. But yeah, no, he's not going to be here today. So let's say hello and goodbye to Rockin' New Era today. Even if he turns it on, he could turn it on just for a second. Just for a second, Rockin'. Just say hello. Just pop in. Come on, it doesn't take that long. But what's up, everybody? Good to see you all in here. My Passionites. I don't know what I'm going to call it. My passion for the pastimers. I don't know. I still don't know what to call you guys. But what's up, Mike? Good to see you in here. AJ Cruz, Lori Galvin. Good to see you all here in the YouTube chat. We will be joined here shortly by Erik Engle. You guys have seen him on the podcast before. I think this will be his third time on the pod. He does all the work on Locked On Network, the postcast that he does after Warrior games, after Giants games coming up here shortly, and he did them for 49ers season too. I don't know if he has other stuff in the works currently, but what's up, Pat H? Good to see you in here as well. So we'll get everybody's thoughts a little bit here on the Giants going into this final, or not necessarily final stretch, but again, tomorrow we are 3 weeks away. It'll be the last Thursday, or not the last Thursday, but it'll be 3 weeks from Thursday that the Giants will have opening day in Cincinnati. So we still got to find out who is going to be on this roster. I mean, we're still starting to see right now who is going to make the final cuts. Again, we had yeah, Pat H. Cripple Lee. Yeah, he will be joining the podcast here shortly. He told me that he just got done folding some laundry. So as soon as he pops into the green room, we will be talking with Triple E of the Locked On Podcast Network. I almost said of KMBR, but he is no longer with KMBR. Thank God. But anyways, what's up, everybody? Good to see you in here. So we're going to talk about the Giants. We're going to talk about their roster construction, which we've been talking about all spring long. But today, we had an interesting development with Kyle Harrison going out there, and I'll pull up his line really quickly, or it wasn't his final line. I'll go ahead and pull up his final line here in a little bit because he did go out there and get a inning. But I believe he was pulled after a third. He only got one out, gave up 5 earned runs right here. You see that this is provided by Sleeper, negative 16 fantasy points, which if you're playing fantasy sports right now in spring training, you're psychotic. I don't know who else does that other than Marcus Boucher and Tom Tolbert. But I don't know who. Dude, I remember Tom Tolbert talking about betting in the preseason of NFL. Where he was like, yeah, no, you know who's going to be in the second half, and you're just betting on who has the better roster, I guess. I forget what his reasoning was, but that is also psychotic to bet on preseason football, and also to bet on or play fantasy sports of spring training baseball. But here's what Kyle Harrison did today prior to getting pulled out. And again, spring training, you have different rules. You can pull him out, you can put him back in. I believe that he was pulled and then he got put back in for another inning and finished it out. But we'll go through that box score here in a little bit. But this is what he did: 5 earned runs, only got 1 out in his initial outing in the bottom of the first inning. So Kyle Harrison, a really rough start for Kyle Harrison today against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Doesn't help that it was against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but here is a little snippet of what ended up actually, you know what? I don't think I loaded it. I don't think that I loaded the highlight. Let me go ahead and pull it in here really quickly because I think I pulled it. Yeah, here it is. Let me load it real quickly, and here it is. I forget who it was, but hit a towering shot. Maybe Erik Engle knows who hit the home run against Kyle Harrison, 456 feet. Forget his first name, but last name was Moreno. He hit the home run, and here's what it looked like. I welcome in my guest for the evening, Erik Engle. We just showed all the pastimers here, Erik. That laser shot. I found out it is Gabriel Moreno. My apologies for missing up on the name, but 456 feet off the. Yeah, I think that's what all Giants fans had that thought, that look on their face when you see that connect. Really quick, if you didn't watch the beginning, I'll play it for you again. Look at that. Jesus. Dude, look at how far up the grass it landed. That is incredible stuff. But what's up, Erik Engle of the Locked On Podcast Network, joining the show for, I believe, the third time. I think this is the third time that you are joining. Are you enjoying your dinner, sir?
I am, dude. I'm actually having some. I
just saw you lick your fingers. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
I'm about to eat my last bite. I'll turn the mic off, dude. I just don't gotta listen to me chew. But dude, today's been a crazy day. I've had so many things to do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show everyone. I'm eating this is my dinner. This bag of kettle chips, habanero lime, dude.
Yeah. All right.
Put you on game right now. These are the best kettle chips in the whole entire lineup. They're so good.
Are you a big kettle chip guy?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah?
I like simple things. You know what I mean? I'm a simple guy. Like, and you look at the ingredients on this.
What about the salt and pepper kettle chips? You like those ones? I like those ones. Those are like one of my favorite ones.
Dude, also low key, the peppercini ones. If you haven't tried the peppercini ones,
is that the yellow bag?
They're like the
like a yellow green.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. The kettle brand chips are pretty damn good. I mean, yeah. I think they're underrated at this point. But what does the chat think about kettle brand chips? Let us know in the YouTube chat for sure.
Oh man, I think they're great. I'm turning this mic off so I can finish this last tip.
Yeah. Your sinuses are through the roof right now. Like you are getting cleared up as we speak. But Erik Engle of the Locked On Podcast Network, he does the postcast every night. You can check it out for the Warriors. You can check it out for the Giants season coming up. That is loading, and then football season. You still do the postcast, right? But that's a ways away. So that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, no, definitely check him out on the podcast network. We'll get you a little plug at the end of the show, Erik. But welcome in, man. I know it's March 5th. You know, it's not time to over exaggerate. You saw the home run there off of Kyle Harrison, but dude, his line did not look great today. I mean, 5 earned runs in only getting an out in his initial go, but he ended up finishing out with let me pull it up here really quickly. He ended up finishing going an inning and 2/3, because you know the weird thing in spring training that you can get pulled and then get put back in for more work. That's the fun thing, because these games aren't real. They're not real. But Kyle Harrison ended up eventually going 1 2/3 inning, giving up 7 hits, 5 earned runs, and 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, and that massive home run to Gabriel Moreno. So really quickly, your thoughts, because I mean the big storyline of the Giants offseason is, I mean, yeah, you got to figure out how they're going to generate runs, and we can get into that. Willie Adames and Casey Schmidt both got both cheeks into that one, into theirs earlier today. We'll pull up some of that film too. But the big storyline for the Giants is that what is going to happen with their starting rotation. And right now, I mean, Kyle Harrison coming in looking a little bit behind, right? I mean, he started, this was his first start of spring. He went out there last Friday after Logan Webb came out of the bullpen. There's others that say that might be better suited for him, right, to be a bullpen arm. But Kyle Harrison entering the spring, from talking to Susan Slusser and Bags, is that he was the favorite to win that number 5 starting position job. But right now, just kind of seeing where he is, how do you feel about Kyle Harrison and then the developments of Landon Roop? I mean, that makes you think, is it a shoo-in for Kyle Harrison to be that number 5 spot, or is somebody else going to get? I mean, we didn't even bring up Hayden Birdsong. Right, yeah. Right. So there's a lot of competition for that last spot in the rotation, but I just want to get your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, man. I think right now Kyle Harrison probably still has the inside track. He's got the most starting experience of any of the Giants pitchers. I also think he's going to have the shortest leash of any of the young guys at the same time. He will have the opportunity to take that job and run with it, but I mean, he didn't earn the nickname Home Run Harry for no reason, you know what I mean?
Dude.
And
yeah,
I mean, he's a fly ball strikeout kind of guy, and that's one thing I do want to say though is obviously, you know, it's super early. He hasn't had a ton of time to kind of suck up all that he can from Justin Verlander and all that wealth of knowledge, and that's really going to be what I think turns the corner for Kyle Harrison if he is able to do it. It's going to be because he learns how to become a pitcher, not just a thrower. And right now, Duke is just a thrower. He's reaching back and trying to just blow the fastball by people and relying on arm talent. And while that might work in college and in the minor leagues, in the major leagues, they got just as much bat talent as you got arm talent. So it's gonna you're gonna, get got eventually if you keep approaching things in that way. But as you said, I really do like Landon Roop, and the way that he was kind of the only guy last season who of the young rookies, while he might not have jumped off the page as much as like a Hayden Birdsong in his 12 strikeout performance or something like that, he did have the most consistent outings of all of the rookie pitchers. I think that he is probably going to be the most impactful pitcher for the Giants of the young bunch. And personally, I'm absolutely in love with Hayden Birdsong's just his arm action, the way that the 12-6 curve is just devastating. And we have seen that velo come back a little bit for Hayden. And so I am really interested to see how long he's able to kind of sustain that level, right? Like we saw him really quickly at the end of last season, kind of dip down. That velo dropped like 4 or 5 miles an hour by September. And we saw guys really touching him up when he couldn't elevate that fastball and blow it by guys to complement that curveball. But I do think Hayden Birdsong showed a lot of progression last year as morphing into, as we just discussed, a pitcher, not just a thrower. And I mean, I just like his mentality, dude. Like, I love the mentality of a Hayden Birdsong and in the way that he's not afraid to just like kind of lay his chips all out on the table. And maybe it's just I like his post-game attitude, you know what I mean, with his interviews and stuff like that. But I do kind of think that by the end of the season, we might be talking about the what ifs with Harrison when the Giants had kind of some opportunities to trade him last season and get a pretty big return. They chose to hang on, even though they have all these other young guys. And we're still waiting on Carson Wisenhunt, man. What the hell? When do we get to see this guy? Like, what? Stop teasing me. Give me Carson Wisenhunt already, at least a little bit. Just give me a taste, man.
And any of the Carsons, though. I mean, Carson Ragsdale, Carson Wisenhunt, Carson Seymour. I mean, any of the Carsons. The Giants, drafting-wise, the organization have a fixation on Carsons like the Diamondbacks do with Corbins, right? I mean, Patrick Corbin, Corbin Burns, Corbin, Corbin. Damn it, the player, the outfielder, Corbin
Carroll.
Corbin Carroll, there it is. Jesus, what the hell happened to me? Oh, dude, it's been a long day. I was sitting in traffic, as you well know, Eric. I was sitting in traffic for a very long time, and prior to leaving KMBR Studios, I have to actually ask you this. If this has ever happened to you, and I think this is relatable to everybody because I think this happens to many people, especially when you get up in age, more than once a week. I lost my freaking keys at the studios. I had no idea where the fuck they were. You want to know where they were? They were in my backpack. I was looking for them for 30 minutes, and it was the one pocket I did not check. My God, man. I got to the point. I got to the point to where I started like yelling at people. I started yelling at Copes. I was like, Copes, you took my keys. Like, started accusing people of taking my keys. I started being irrational as hell because I misplaced my keys and they were just in my backpack.
Like, Cope, stop with the riffs, man. Like, I get it. You think this is funny, but you're the only one who thinks this is funny. Like, half of Cope's jokes in general. Just give me my damn keys. Let me go home. Stop holding me hostage here. That the sports leader. Yeah, man. Oh my God. Yeah. Dude,
yeah, dude. I'm just like, I'm trying to get the hell out of here. Like, I'm trying to get to my car, and then I went to. What the bad thing is that so I was looking for it. It was nowhere that I normally put my stuff around the studio. I checked my backpack, but I didn't check that one freaking pocket. And it's like, you know, my backpack, you've seen the gray one. It has these like little slits of pockets that you can just like I usually put my pens in there. And for some freaking reason, I put the keys in there, and it's not like I can't fit my whole hand in there. So I had to put like my finger in there and like reach for it. And it was just a bad situation. So I went to the garage. I talked to the garage attendant. I'm like, hey, dude, did you happen to see like keys that I maybe like misplaced? And I went to the car. I saw that the car was locked, but I was like, damn, did I lock the keys in the car? It was just a whole situation. So then, I tacked that on to my traffic. It was a fantastic day, fantastic time getting home today.
Yeah, dude, I have been known to leave accidentally an item or two in my backpack. And let me tell you, man, I'm not the most observant person with what's in my backpack. And sometimes, every now and again, you get on a plane to go somewhere and you end up at your destination. You go through your backpack and you go, oh, I didn't mean to bring that with me.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know.
And sometimes it might happen on some international flights, which, you kind of just, that's a little bit of a risky situation there. But, it's all just part of life. You know what I mean? Just part of life.
It's an item that you realize that's in your backpack and you're like, oh man, I need to go to the bathroom and hide this somewhere, if you know what I mean. All right, Eric. So thank you for making me feel less dumb, and that it does happen to you. Really appreciate that.
For a lot of people.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, no, it happens. But let's go out to the YouTube chat really quickly, and then we'll get back into some Giant stuff. Just want to say hi to Pine Needle because Pine Needle has been trying to make it in here for quite some time, and he's finally made it. So what's up, Pine Needle? Good to see you in here. Hopefully you are subscribed to the channel. Set your notifications, man. We go live every Monday through Thursday. Unless sometimes life happens that I can't make the show, but Monday through Thursday it will change during baseball season. We start at 6 o'clock right now in the spring training / off season time period, but we'll get you those updates as we get closer to the regular season. 3 weeks from tomorrow, dude. I'm so excited for that. But we'll definitely get into more Giants talk. Let's get back out to the YouTube chat. Lori Galvin checking in, saying hello to Eric. You don't have to be that nice to Eric. You don't have to be that nice, but she says hello to you as well. Going back to the chip conversation, Pat H said that those were the best chips, the ones that you were talking about. Don't eat a bunch of those, but But yeah, you definitely he's down with the kettle chips, the ones that you were eating. What were they? The jalapeno?
Habanero lime.
Habanero lime. All right. So Mike Val checks in.
Right. Pat is 100% right. Last night after I was eating these, I had another bag last night, by the way. I'm addicted to these things 100%.
How many bags do you go? No, dude, there's a bag of chips that I'm addicted to. I can't go grab them unless you want to talk for like five minutes by yourself while I go get it out of the pantry. But I think it debuted like last year. It was these Doritos that it's a black bag, and it's like a barbecue. It's a sweet barbecue, I think it is. Or spicy. I think it's a spicy barbecue. No, I think the purple bag is like a spicy chili, and then the other one is a
I'm familiar with the purple.
Yeah, you know the purple bag. So it's the sister bag of the purple bag. I think it's a barbecue, a sweet barbecue, I think is what it is. But that is freaking amazing. By the way, yeah, just showing our fat guy tendencies. Talking about chips.
Don't your eyes after, man. Like I was laying down to go to bed. I was all sleepy. I was like picking the sleep out of my eyes after falling asleep after eating a bag of chips. Speaking of fat boy problems, and dude, immediately I'm like, oh god, I can't see. Like, what is wrong with my eyes? I almost just did it again right there on the camera. Wow, I am the smartest person you will talk to today. But man, it is just
you're saying what not to do, and you're demonstrating. Oh, this is what you don't do, and then you do it. Come on, bro. What are you doing? All right.
I mean, great chips, though. Great chips.
No, it's a great chip. We'll get back into some Giants stuff here in a second, but let me just catch up with the YouTube chat really quickly. Mike Val checking in on the kettle chips says the jalapeno are on hit. I like it as spicy. Hell yeah, dude. Ernie, what's up, Ernie? Good to see you in here. That is Ernie 1. I mistaked Ernie 1 for Ernie 2 yesterday. This is a whole situation, Eric. I'm not gonna explain it to you, but yeah, I mixed up the Ernies. But yeah, that is
name is Ernie. So
hell yeah, dude.
Shortened from Edward, which is also my middle name. So
look at that. Hell yeah.
Ernie's unite. Ernie's unite.
Pine Needle checking in saying that I don't think that there's a bad kettle chip. I think that's a good call. I don't think that there is a bad kettle chip.
No, they're
all pretty damn good.
Salt and pepper, the sea salt, like every single bag is great.
Eric, real quick, Ernie's checking in. When is Erik joining the Passion for the Pastime Network?
Anytime. I'm waiting for my offer sheet, Walt. I'm sitting over here waiting with pen in hand for the offer sheet. Look. Whoa. Oh, maybe I don't have. Oh yeah, dude, right here, pen in hand, waiting for the offer, Walt. Sign on that dotted line.
That's a really nice pen. It's a really nice pen. All right, so we caught up with the YouTube chat, so anybody has any questions for myself or for Erik while we're talking some Giants baseball or kettle chips, let us know in the YouTube chat because it is an interactive ordeal here on Passion for the Pastime. We love to have you guys included. Really quickly, we were talking about not really quickly. I mean, we're going to dive into this. We're going to talk about the pitchers because you were talking about Landon Ruby. You were talking about Kyle Harrison and Hayden Birdsong. The fact of the matter is, one of these guys are not going, or two of these guys are probably not going to be on the 26-man roster. My whole conundrum is if it's not Kyle Harrison, because you figure that would be the easy one, right? Because he has the major league experience. If he goes out there and he competes at a high level that we know that he is potentially capable of doing. He has the experience to go out there and be the number 5 starter. I think that is a good position for him, and he can continue on his trajectory and be a major league pitcher. Can he be a top of the rotation guy? I don't know if we're necessarily in that realm right now, but he does have the upside to that, right? He could be that type of guy. Marcus Boucher was on the podcast, I believe it was late last week, and he thinks, your guy. He thinks that Kyle Harrison could potentially be the number 2, the second best rather, guy in the rotation at the season's end. So he just has that type of potential. Nice. But you look at what everybody is doing behind him, right? With Landon Roop and Hayden Birdsong. I think the Giants are in a realm because Landon Roop was in the bullpen last year, right? He was out there and he was pitching in the major leagues. Oh, hell yeah. Love the cat content here on the podcast. I'll have to see if my cat comes around if she sees your cat. What's the name of the cat, Erik?
His name's Buddha.
Buddha? Hell yeah.
From Buddha.
But yeah, so you're looking at the Giants and you're looking at Landon Roop, and he was in the he was in the bullpen, right? He was in the bullpen for the Giants last year. Uh, it sounds like the Giants want to go away from that because he wants to be a starter, and they want to start using these guys not just to give them experience, but to get them arm strength, to get them in the routines that they are going to go out there and perform with, right? So if Landon Roop doesn't make the rotation as the number 5 starter, there is spots in the bullpen, but your opinion, or your preference, would you want to see Landon Root be on this opening day roster just based on what he can do out of the bullpen? He's done it before. He has electric stuff right now, and I think that he might be better suited for the bullpen if it isn't Kyle Harrison than Hayden Birdsong, right? So I mean, where do you see this kind of conundrum happen? Because I have my River Cats hat on. You figure that a lot of these guys in the conversation that we're talking about right now are going to start the year in Sacramento, whether that be Landon Roop, whether that be Kyle Harrison, or whether that be Hayden Birdsong. But how do you feel on that situation, like with specifically Landon Roop? Would you bring him into the bullpen to be on the opening day 26-man roster?
I think so. I know that the new regime, Buster does not want to do the same kind of crap that Farhan did with calling guys up and sending them down and maximizing all their options that they have. Buster has a much better feel for how much that just completely can destroy a player's confidence and mentality. And I know they don't want to do that. However, I think that is going to be absolutely unavoidable this year with the pitchers, with this entire pitching staff, because you have so many moving parts. We haven't even talked about guys like Mason Black and Keaton Wynn so far. They are obviously going to be in the mix as well. But with what you're saying, I think that there's going to be a lot of guys that kind of have to, make a decision. Do you want to be on the Giants, like the major league team, or do you want to make sure that you start every 5 days? If you want to start every 5 days, I think you're going to be down in Sacramento and up to San Francisco, back and forth quite a bit.
Right.
I think that's what we're going to see from Hayden Birdsong. I think Landon Roop, because we have seen his ability to throw out of the pen, which is not something that these other guys have done. Keaton Wynn did that a little bit first year when they called him up, but we haven't seen him come out of the pen in a while. I think that you see Landon Roop coming out of the pen to start the season, and I think he will be on that opening day roster because, like I said, we saw him be so successful in both of these forms last year. And I think that if you give the guy the vote of confidence, and I think if you have Buster come and sit in and say, look, man, we need you out of the pen. We do think of you as a starter, and we are going to build you up as the season goes on to achieve that goal. I think Landon Roop's probably going to be on board with that. I also think, we haven't seen Hayden Birdsong come out of the bullpen. Maybe that's something he might be willing to do, but I don't see him profiling as that type of guy. Yeah. He's someone who kind of, we've seen him plenty of times in his outings, kind of struggle to find his command in that first inning or that first couple batters, but then he'll lock in about the second, especially I've noticed like in the third, fourth innings, that guy is usually when he really locks in when he's in like the middle of his pitching performance, when he's kind of ramped up a little bit. Landon Roop can come in and get you 3 outs, bang, 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 anytime. Don't got to get ready if you stay ready. And that's what I'm thinking is going to be the case this season with those two guys. We haven't talked about Keaton Wynn, and I know a lot of Giants fans are very down on him after the way last season went. But honestly, man, the velo has come back. We've seen him hitting the upper 90s with that velo in spring. And I do think that he's going to be a dude this year, at least better. He has to be better than he was last year. What was the ERA, like north of 6, north of 7?
It wasn't good. Yeah.
And that's a lot. The guy started the season on the injury list and then ended up back on there later on. I think.
He got blasted and was tipping pitches, I think, in Colorado and in Boston, right? Or was it Boston and Philly? Yeah, Boston
was really the one that I think broke him.
Yeah, that was bad.
But he also wasn't very healthy, and so I think that when you are injured like that, you aren't yourself out there. You're doing things that you normally wouldn't do. I don't think he's going to be tipping pitches for the rest of his career kind of thing. And I do think that, once that velo comes back, look at what he did in the beginning of the season when he was actually like relatively healthy, which he was never fully healthy at any point last year. But when he was relatively healthy, he was doing pretty good, man. Like he was like baby Logan Webb out there with his ground ball rate, like near 60%. I mean, he, especially when you pair that with that velo that he has in his arm when he's healthy, he's capable of hitting 98 on the gun. I think that's a really, really, really good option for the Giants to have. And also, I mean, one thing that I really want to see the Giants do, and I highly doubt that they'll do this. I want to see them give Jordan Hicks, like, let him go once through the rotation, let him start the next time through, skip him and put in a Mason Black or a Keaton Wynn or a Hayden Birdsong or a Landon Roop. And then next time around, go back to Jordan Hicks, because we cannot have Jordan Hicks gas out at the All-Star break again. If the Giants want to actually have a legitimate chance at doing anything this season, I actually was just reading Jim Bowden put out a piece today where he graded every team's offseason, gave the Giants a B, and then projected them to be a fourth place finish in the National League West. Yeah. And I that very well could happen. I mean, the D-backs are improved this year and they weren't a bad team anyway, like to begin with last year. Remember, just a couple years removed from a trip to the World Series. This is a legitimate team. You add Corbin Burns, it's obviously going to make your team pretty damn good. But they do lose Christian Walker, which that is, I don't know why people sleep on that guy, man. He is one of the top first basemen in all of baseball. And he's so consistent over there, Gold Glove caliber defense, 30 to 40 bombs a year. And like that guy is a dude. And so they are going to miss him, I do think, a little bit. And then San Diego didn't really do a whole lot in the offseason. They added Nick Pivetta, but you know, they underachieved a lot last year. You have to think that they'll probably be healthier this year than they were that
they still could trade Dylan Cease. I mean, they're still talking about that.
They could. And so the Padres, I think, are still going to be a formidable challenge as well. But the Giants, I think that there's no possible way, and I hope I'm not sitting here a couple months from now just eating these words. I have no idea how in the hell this team could be as injured as they were last year to all these key players. Like we saw Jung-Hoo Lee for what, a month and a half before he went out for the season. I mean, Keaton Wynn, that was a big issue. There was a point in time last year where damn near everybody on this pitching staff was injured, and we were watching Logan Webb and then bullpen games until Logan Webb starts again. And I just have to imagine that won't happen this year. I mean, it can't happen 2 years in a row, right? Like with all these different pitchers that they have, plus all those young guys got a lot of experience because of all those injuries last year. And I think they're all going to be, you know, much more ready for this season. And maybe some of them, definitely some of these guys aren't going to pan out the way that we're hoping, but they have a much better chance of success this season, having the experience that they did last year. So I am encouraged by all of that. And we'll see. I mean, they also did have a lot of other good things happening, in like specifically in the bullpen last year. Erik Miller was a revelation, man. That guy was so phenomenal and consistent for the Giants last year. Obviously, the Camilo Doval thing is a big question mark. Who the hell knows how that's going to go? But you know, Ryan Walker, phenomenal find for the Giants, and I think that you got enough back there that you're gonna be fine. Plus, I would really like to see Reggie Crawford soon, man. I mean, I saw that he was on the boardroom recently. Maybe he wasn't on the show, but he was like hanging out with KD and stuff. And I saw like Kevin Durant, Reggie Crawford crossover. I was like, oh man, if KD's giving him some love, this guy got to be close to the bigs, right? Like he has to be.
Yeah, I think he's still because I want to say that he ended up getting Tommy John at the end of last year. So I don't know how close he is to returning to the mound. But he's somebody that, I mean, you know, you look forward to seeing what he could do because he is a lefty, right? And that's the biggest thing with this Giants bullpen as now we shift from the starters, which kind of a little bit of a crossover talk here. But you go to the starters that we were talking about with that number 5 spot, whether it's Landon Roop, he's also a righty, right? He's a righty. But you know who is a lefty is Kyle Harrison. That's why I'm looking at this possibility of where does it make more sense, and even if it's just for like the first couple of turns through the rotation, does it make more sense to have Landon Roop be the starter and Kyle Harrison come out of the bullpen because of what you just said there with Erik Miller? He was really electric last year, but he was heavily used, right? He was heavily used as a rookie. The same kind of deal that Ryan Walker had the year prior was Erik Miller. Like he came out there, he was a rookie. He was a guy that had the ball and he had electric stuff, and he competed at a high level. but he's the only lefty in the bullpen. So how do the Giants do they go into the game or into the season with just one lefty out of the bullpen and everyone else righties? I mean, that could be problematic, but then also we have to remember it's not so much a lefty for a lefty anymore. You have to have guys in the bullpen that can get both sides of the plate out because of the new rules that were instituted a couple of years ago, where you have a 3-batter minimum, right? The only time that doesn't count for a reliever is if you come in there and get the final out of an inning, then you can swap them out because they get through an inning, right? So that's the big thing when you look to the bullpen, is how do they construct this remaining team? Because if you're looking at it, I think that there are 2 open spots in the rotation if they're going to go 13 pitchers over the 26 man roster. If they go 13, you got the 5 starters, and then you have Tyler Rogers, Camilo Doval, Ryan Walker, Randy Rodriguez will probably be in there as well, Eric Miller, and then that's 5 guys. So then you kind of come down to, well, 5 plus 5, that's 10. You got 3 spots open in the bullpen. I maybe missed somebody in the bullpen as well, but
got to think about guys like Sean Jelly.
Oh yeah, Sean Jelly's out there. Yeah, Sean Jelly
and Tristan Beck too. I mean, Tristan Beck is also that's a guy who I'm honestly really excited to watch. He looked really good at the end of last season, I thought, when he came back from what was probably the most scary sounding injury I've ever heard of in baseball. I mean, I mean, him, I'm amazed that he was able to come back the way that he was. I mean, that's a story all on its own. Just the perseverance of a Tristan Beck. And then also you got to think about a guy like Spencer Bivens, who had a phenomenal end to the season last year. And I mean, as you said, you brought up the Carson Ragsdale earlier. There's so many in Carson.
Well, Carson Wisenhunt, a lefty. It's like you got to start looking at do they look at these guys specifically because of their arm that they can throw with, right? Yeah. Or if it's just like someone so superior like a Landon Roop, do you give him the bullpen spot, or do you give him the starter spot and have Kyle Harrison, at least, like I said, through the first 2, maybe 3 turns until he gets up to speed, because he is a little bit behind all these other pitchers? Do you give him the opportunity to come out of the bullpen because he is a lefty? And quite frankly, I mean, I've said it here on the podcast, but I've heard it before with George Contos when he's been on with Papa in the midday shows last year, Papa and Lund, when they were talking about it, and he pretty much says that he profiles Kyle Harrison more as a reliever than a starter because of his arsenal and because of his pitch selection. He goes heavy fastball. So that is something that, I mean, that kind of screams a reliever. It makes sense. It's just a matter of the fact if the Giants want to go down that route.
Yeah, man. And the more that we talk about this, the more that I think that could really be an option for the Giants. Yeah. Ultimately, I think this team just really needs to make a trade, man. Like, you got to package some of these young arms together and get something back in return. Maybe just one big name prospect for some of these, like this big bunch of guys to a team that might have some talent on the top end, but maybe the rest of the farm system isn't as fleshed out. And I think that they could really do that if they looked around the league. I don't think that you would have a shortage of suitors for some of these arms. And you got a lot of pieces, man. Like a lot. We have named so many names. And I mean, I'm not talking about trading a guy like Spencer Bivens that's over the age of 30, but like, you're going to have so many, guys who are about 25 that you can trade that all look, relatively ready to pitch in the major leagues right now. There's no room for them all on this roster. You could have a whole entire bullpen full of all of these, like, what if guys. And I mean, you can't enter a whole season like that, but I mean, it's just, they have an embarrassment of riches right now, but the longer that you wait on these prospects, the less value that they really have. So I really think that they should look to trade some of these guys and I mean, get something back. And honestly, I think that maybe you throw Marco Luciano into a package as well. And you just try and move. I mean, I think it might be time to turn the page on that whole experiment, because where does he fit? I mean, I know we're talking pitching here, but like just prospects in general, like we're talking about spots for guys. Marco Luciano, he doesn't have a spot. You can't be on this. You can't just be, this huge, number one prospect in the system for as long as he has, and then come up to the big leagues and then just all of a sudden say, well, he's not ever going to play defense. He's just going to be a DH. Okay, well, if he's just a DH, I want that guy to look like Gerard Encarnacion and just absolutely great.
Add some meat to him,
I want this guy hitting I want a 462-foot tank like we just saw earlier in the show. And I know that Marco has had a bad run of things, and I hate to like dunk on the guy, and I really do think that the Farhan regime just totally just destroyed this guy's mental set. I really think that they did him such a disservice by promising him the world, promising him, the shortstop position is yours, when 29 other teams in baseball said this guy's not a shortstop.
Right.
I mean, I think they really messed with him, and then he gets to the big leagues and he's, unplayable on defense. I know he just got sent back down to AAA along with Bryce, but I don't think that you're really sitting there looking out for I don't know where you force him into this lineup, and the Giants think that they can make a wild card push this year. I don't really want to see the Marco Luciano experiment this year. I really don't. I mean, if they're out of the race and you want to kick the tires on him, then sure, but like, he can't be happy with that. And I don't think that Giants fans are really excited to go watch him out there right now.
Well, and he might be, it might just be a Joey Bart 2.0. You know what I mean? Like, it might be a prospect that has been through the system that, again, by no fault of Buster Posey or this new regime, but of years past, that they just messed him up mentally, to where a change of scenery is probably for the best for both parties, right? I mean, when you start talking about potential trades and you're looking at prospects, right? I mean, I think the reason why there hasn't been a trade from the arms perspective, because right now, I mean, you have to have arms to get you through, because we talk about the 5-man rotation, right? And that's some sacred thing, because that's the old school way of thinking about pitching, is that you had guys in a rotation, 5 guys in a rotation that you knew were going to go out there and get you 5, 6, 7 innings. That's how baseball was before. But now it's more about quantity at this point, with the new analytics and having these young guys come in and go out there. I know that this new regime has said that they want guys to have more length, and JP Martinez has gone out there and said that they would like to have their pitchers go deeper. But that's something that doesn't change overnight. It's a mentality thing, but it's also a conditioning thing, right? We saw what happened with Jordan Hicks last year, not necessarily because he was going deep into games, but because he was learning how to pitch. He went from a reliever to be a starter, right? But then you look at how they kind of babied Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison never threw over 4 innings in minor leagues. He never threw more than 4 innings until he came to the major leagues. And that, I think, is a huge disservice. So then now you're starting to look at all these players in years past, that you're looking at how they have been managed. And not to say that Kyle Harrison falls under the same category of a Joey Bart or of a Marco Luciano, but I do think that it's kind of close, because they babied him so much. He is young, and he can still grow into a potential, front end starter. We'll have to see how he can morph into that. But just going back to Marco Luciano, it's really interesting to see, because you said, like, where do you play him, right? Where do you play him? Because he's a guy that is similar to kind of Lamont Wade, is that he's a guy that doesn't really have a position, you know what I mean? Or he plays out of position, because Lamont Wade, I feel like he's more of like a second baseman type for what he does. Like, he gets on base, he can run around and hopefully not get hurt. And he gets on base, like he works seriously. You don't want to run around the bases too much, but that's something. He gets on base. He is an on base machine. Especially working walks, right? But he doesn't profile as a first baseman, right? I mean, Blake Sable kind of, it might be even more close to a Marco Luciano, in that he was a player that did not have a position. He did not have anywhere to go. And then they were just like, all right, we'll put you at catcher. We'll put you in the outfield. We'll put you at first. We'll see where we can get you because we want to have your bat in the lineup. I feel like that is the route that Marco Luciano is going because, again, he just doesn't have a position. And I think that this organization took way too damn long to assess. And again, not saying this current regime, not saying Buster Posey and everybody else who is currently here now, but in the years of Farhan, they should have addressed this years ago in seeing that he could not field shortstop. That they have to figure out how to get him in the outfield. They have to figure out how to get him to second base. They have to figure out, can he get to first base? Can he play anywhere else? And I think that Marco Luciano is a guy that just doesn't have a position right now. So that makes it really hard for him to make it on this club and anywhere for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, I truly don't know how it took them that long to figure out that dude doesn't have a backhand at all. Like, to quote, one of the most famous quotes in the Bay Area sporting lexicon, if you had one play to make, aliens got the death beam pointed at planet Earth, I absolutely want anybody but Marco Luciano to attempt that backhand. Like, I would rather have Buster Posey come out of retirement and try to play shortstop than Marco Luciano out there again. I mean, that was.
I'd rather have Pablo Sandoval after he had a colossal Sunday from Buca de Beppo out there fielding a backhand.
I would rather have your coworker Raf Corral playing shortstop. And let me tell you, I play slow pitch softball with Raf, and Raf is not an infielder, but I'd rather have Raf at shortstop than Marco Luciano, man. He will close his eyes when the ball takes right before it's about to hop into his glove. Raf might close his eyes and wave at it, but hey, he's gonna get 40 to 50% of those balls. Marco's just gonna, he might watch it all the way into the glove, and he's still gonna boot it around nonetheless. But I mean, because of that, and I think that's important. The backhand thing, like I'm ripping on the guy, but you have to be able to field a backhand if you're playing first base. Like, so many balls come in the dirt, and as a first baseman, you gotta pick that. And we were so lucky. Giants fans took this guy for granted for years, and I know this is a hot button topic for Giants fans, but we did not appreciate Brandon Belt enough while he was here. Brandon Belt. Say what you want about his offense, and maybe he never achieved that power slugger first baseman status you wanted him to. But Brandon Belt could pick a backhand, man. Like, that dude was just a solid, rock solid defensive first baseman. Obviously, he's not the jersey you got hanging up behind you, JT Snow, who both of us absolutely love. JT, he is the gold standard here in San Francisco. That's what you want your first baseman to be. The Giants don't have anybody that's even a sniff close to that, except for maybe Bryce Eldridge. And once he does come up, obviously, you're just kind of biding time at first base until he gets here. And the Giants aren't exactly in a championship window. I hate that term in baseball, because were the Diamondbacks in a championship window when they went to the World Series? Absolutely not. Were the Giants in a championship window when Cody Ross and company led them to a World Series in 2010? Absolutely not. Nobody said that they were opening a championship window or anything like that. So I kind of hate that terminology in baseball. I think it makes more sense in other sports like basketball and football, where one big signing can really pivot the entire trajectory of a team. But baseball, it's a team game, right? Like, they went out and got Willy Adames, and that was probably the single best signing the Giants could make to improve this team. I think we all universally agree they needed a real shortstop, and to add a power bat into the middle of the lineup. But I do not expect the Giants to make a huge leap this year because of that. Like, that's just because they signed the best possible signing doesn't mean that you're going to turn from a 500 team into a top 5, top 6 team in the National League. That's just not how it works in baseball. It's the most complete team game, which is why I love this game so much, man. And it is, you don't really know what's going to happen. It's relatively unpredictable, but one thing is for certain, the Giants need a lot more help than what they currently got if they want to make a legitimate push back into the playoffs. And now I'm not saying that they don't have a shot at, a wild card, because I think they really do this season have a solid shot at making the wild card this year, but it's going to be a lot on the table for the Giants to try and handle all of these changes, to navigate all of the young guys that are cropping up this year and that are pushing for playing time. As I said, I think you got to make a trade. And I know that we have all talked about this one guy, and I know he's at the very, very, very top of your personal wish list to come to the Giants. But I'm just saying, in the perfect world, I don't really know how great the Blue Jays farm system is. I just instinctually, I'm gonna take a wild shot in the dark with absolutely no research and say the Blue Jays farm system probably not very good or very deep. Otherwise, we'd probably see some of those guys, considering how bad this team has been in recent years and how much they've underachieved. Vlad's on his way out. Why not call up the Blue Jays and say, hey, man, let's get Vlad here now and get rid of some of these prospects. Maybe just give him the pitch of like, look, just come play here, see how you fit in with the team, see what the team looks like around you, and have that be your sales pitch, an extended sales pitch to get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here, because I absolutely think that would be worth shipping out a couple of these pitching prospects. If I told you right now, you give up, Kyle Harrison, Carson Wisenhunt, and maybe a Randy Rodriguez and Marco Luciano, maybe you throw in another prospect, if just pick your choice for Vlad. Do you say no? I mean, maybe the Blue Jays say no, but I don't think that anybody on the Giants would say absolutely no to that. And the Blue Jays in return would be getting at least 2 pitchers that you can plug in right now into their rotation, into their bullpen, and a bunch of other guys that will be there by the year's end. So it would kind of refresh their whole pitching staff, and it would give the Giants what they need at first base.
Let me ask you a question real quick, because we kind of played around with some trade scenarios over the last couple of weeks when we found out the turmoil with Vlad Jr. and the Blue Jays. Let me throw a couple of names out at you if you would include them in a trade. And this is, it doesn't have to be a whole one package, but would you be willing to part with them just to see how serious you are about trading for Vlad Jr.? Because I know how serious I am, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw you some guys. And then on the back end, I just want to make one point why they may not have to trade for him to get him. But let's go ahead and throw some of these names out, right? If they wanted to acquire Vlad Jr. this year, and this is just dream scenario, pipe dreams type stuff, would you include Marco Luciano?
Oh, without a doubt.
Of course. Would you include Elliot Ramos?
Yeah, I would.
Would you include Carson Wisenhunt?
I would.
Would you include Landon Roop?
It would give me pause to see what else they want in that package. But yeah, I would. I would. I don't think there's a single untouchable player other than maybe Logan Webb, like just because he's
right.
That's the only guy. I'm telling you right now, honestly, I'd probably give up Bryce Eldridge I'm definitely shipping Bryce out to Toronto if we're getting Vlad back.
So would you do this? Would you do Bryce Eldridge, Hayden Birdsong, and Kyle Harrison?
Yes, right now.
You do that right now for all right.
Right now. I mean, I
would too. I would too.
Because no matter who you trade, you're still going to have a decent farm system. Like you could get rid of all of those guys if you get rid of Bryce, obviously you're lacking on the position player aspect, but Tibbs, dude, like James Tibbs, I'm pretty sure James Tibbs, I'm getting that right. The Giants pick from last year, first round pick from last year, he has looked so good and has shot up. I think he's the number 4 ranked prospect in the system now. And I mean, he looks like another guy who could potentially do that. I think I will always choose the proven player Vlad Jr. is a perennial MVP candidate. Do we know if any of these guys are ever going to be that in their careers?
That's the thing.
We absolutely do not. I mean, we hope that Bryce Eldridge, he profiles as that type of guy, but I mean, what happens if he blows out a knee? What happens if he's got to get Tommy John? What happens if, any number of things can happen between now and when that guy actually like materializes as a legitimate big league player. And even when he does, there's a massive chasm, Grand Canyon sized gap between Bryce Eldridge entering, being, seasoned enough to enter the bigs and being in the MVP conversation. Like that is like almost a laughable assumption that he would ever get to that point. I mean, we hope that he gets there, but I would trade almost anybody on this roster except for Logan Webb for Vlad Jr. Maybe not Willie Adames either, since he just got here and he just signed that massive contract and he's under team control for a long time. But if you get a guarantee, I mean, if you got a guarantee from Vlad that he would sign an extension, sure, send Willie Adames out there. Go find another shortstop.
Well, here's the thing though. I don't think that you would want. I don't think you would want Willie Adames off of this team. And I know you're joking, but let me just say this: in that, because all of this is happening and players talk to players, and I think that having players of the same country, cut from the same cloth, is very important to some of these guys. It makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel at home, right? They have somewhere to go, which I think, when you go and look at the Roki Sasaki deal, he ended up in Los Angeles because of all of those guys that they have from Japan. I mean, you literally have the Japanese national team on that roster right now. And then you sprinkle in the dude from the KBO, Haesung Kim, right? Not Ha-Sung Kim, Haesung Kim. Yes. Very similar, but you just have these Asian-born players that are on the Dodgers that make it a more welcoming environment, right? And then you look to, with guys on this roster right now, you look to Luis Matos. He's from Venezuela. Elliot Ramos, he's from Puerto Rico. They're all Latino, but the big thing with Willie Adames is that he's Dominican.
Yep.
And so is Vlad Jr., right? Yep. So I wonder if that has any weight at all when it comes to free agency, because I do feel that with the potential suitors for Vlad Jr. and Mike Val jumped in here, and I think this is an important note, is that the Blue Jays, according to Baseball America, are 23rd ranked farm system in the game, and the Giants are 24th, right? So the problem with trading prospects is if your farm system is ranked as low as it is, if it is 24th, like Mike Val points out there, that your capital, your assets that you have to deal with, they don't have the luster like they do with the Dodgers, who have the number one farm system in Major League Baseball, right? And there's a lot of teams. I forget who is up at the top. I can go ahead and pull that up here shortly. But when you look to the other farm systems, that's why when you're looking at the Blue Jays, if they do end up trading, and I think that they're just going to sit on their hands and hope that he signs with them, and comes down to a number that is reasonable for them. I mean, they offered, what was it, 345, I think was the number for Vlad Jr., and he said no. So he might be closer. I believe the number was, Pat H had it earlier, or not earlier, but a couple of weeks ago. Pat H had the number. I want to say it was north of 500, and I think it was at 560, I think is what the number was for Vlad Jr. that he's looking for. But so let's assume that if the Blue Jays do trade him, I think that it would be more likely, it wouldn't be the Giants. It would be someone in the top 10 of prospects, regardless of how good like Bryce Eldridge is, regardless of how good Carson Wisenhunt is potentially showing, or Tibbs, or any of their top prospects in the organization. I think that the stigma of the Giants right now, because the farm system of Farhan in the past, is that's why you can't really make a lot of good trades from your farm system. They have to be kind of on the major league roster, like a Camilo Doval, like a Kyle Harrison potentially, or other guys in that category. But I do feel that if the Giants, if Vlad Jr. does end up going to free agency and doesn't sign an extension, and he is freewheeling, right? It sounds like, and Pat H put this up here as well, sounds like the Red Sox are going to want to bring him there, and it sounds like he wants to play there as well. And what better way to get back at your team than to play for a division rival? And he likes playing out there, right? But also, you have to remember that Vlad Sr., what did he do after he left Montreal?
Came out to the West Coast,
He
baby.
came to the West Coast, and I'm not saying that that's going to be a Dodger situation. I really hope that that is not the case. But I feel that the Giants could potentially, if they want to spend that much money, which I don't think that they want to, man. I think that they're putting all their eggs in the basket of Bryce Eldridge. But I mean, it's fun to think of, right? I mean, it's fun to think of a potential signing of Vlad Jr. next year, because then you start looking at this roster and you slot him in there. It looks more respectable with Vlad Jr. there, even over a Bryce Eldridge. I know how young he is, and I know that he can go one of two ways. But like you said earlier, you know what Vlad Jr. is. You know that he's an MVP candidate. Yeah, he's proven. Now, how long will he be able to play coming? Be out there in the field and not be a everyday DH. That's a question too. And then you're spending that type of money, but he's a proven big leaguer. We know what he's going to do. And man, I remember when he had his first and second home runs. First and second home runs against the Giants, and I was in attendance, and this dude can hit at that ballpark. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. And just to go back to your Red Sox point, you know who the number one farm system is, according to Baseball America right now?
Oh, it's the Red Sox.
Boston Red Sox. But I also do want to
that's great.
Giants fans, because the Giants are ranked 24 right now, but I think that you touched on something there, and it's a stigma that's following around the Giants right now. These prospect rankings can change so damn fast, because the Detroit Tigers. You know what the Detroit Tigers rank was in 2023? 26th in baseball. And then they jumped all the way up to 5 in 2024.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then you look at like the Chicago White Sox are number 4. They were 28th in 2023. So these things can change very, very, very fast. And a lot of it is honestly perception. Like if I just threw out a random team, like let's just say, where do you think the Tampa Bay Rays farm system is ranked? You probably immediately think top 10, easy, in all of baseball.
Easy.
The Rays just always have a good farm system, or that's what we think of. They're just that kind of franchise. When's the last time that the Giants developed like a guy? Madison Bumgarner. That's the last time. I'll skip to the answer for you. And I mean, they did a lot of development back then, but I mean, it has been a while, like a damn near a decade since the Giants successfully drafted and developed a guy all the way to the bigs, or even traded for a guy when he was still in the minor leagues. Like how many guys did Farhan go and tinker with, like the Wayne Wilsons of the world and guys like that? And I mean, Farhan he has to have been like a secret agent sent from the Dodgers to just destroy the Giants from the inside out at this point. Like, I think that it absolutely is just, I mean, he just ruined this team for years to come as well. And the stench of what Farhan did, it's like, you know, the episode of The Office where someone, went and took a dump in Michael Scott's like cubicle or in his
Packer
Packer came in. Dude, Farhan is Packer. He just showed up and took a dump right in the middle of the Giants farm system, just left it there for the next guy to deal with. And so right now Buster Posey is in the process of like getting all the cleaners to come in and heat clean, like steam clean the carpet. That's where we're at with the Giants right now.
Right.
I see Tacky's comment, Brandon Crawford, but that was the same era, man. Like Brandon Crawford, Bell, Madison.
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing though that I would say to Tacky, and that's why I brought it up. Brandon Crawford wasn't a guy. He was a guy, right? He was a guy. He wasn't the guy. That's the question. A and the are completely different. Brandon Crawford, I mean, yeah, we know where he's going to stand in San Francisco Giants history as the best shortstop to have ever played the game, right? But he wasn't out there being I mean, he was flashy with the glove, but he wasn't really a force other than, I believe that what year was that? Was it 2014? It was early in the World Series title runs. I forget what year it was. Oh no, I think it was it 2021 that he had his best offensive output year?
Yeah, 2021 was his
2021,
best.
but what was it before that? It was like 14, right? Or 13 maybe?
I
can't remember.
Maybe it
was 15.
I think it was probably 15 or even 2016. He had a pretty good year as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the point is that he wasn't the guy offensively, right? And then that's where you get to, well, who have the Giants really produced? Who have they gone through the farm system and really developed a position player, right? Because that's also the stigma is that the Giants haven't been able to produce a position player. I mean, you look at Brandon Crawford and okay, yeah, I hear you on that. Brandon Belt wasn't a guy. Yeah, he was expected to be the guy. He was expected to have more power than he displayed at the major league level,
30
right?
home run guy never.
Yeah, no, it never happened. That's the same thing that they're saying about Bryce Eldridge. Oh, he's a 40 homer guy. Does he ever get to that? You know what I'm saying? So the Giants haven't really done that from the position player side. But then when you look to the pitchers side with the arms, that's kind of where they get their calling card, right? And that's why, I mean, now when you look to the Giants organization and how they've constructed this roster and even the 40 man, right? Just the organization, the farm system, all of it is that they're getting back to the basics in that they are trying to win with pitching and defense, right? That's how you win at that ballpark. And now, I mean, they have a lot of young, good potential players to where, or pitchers rather, to where they have value, right? Because you know that the Giants can find and develop pitching. That has always been their calling card. They can find and develop pitching, but then also that kind of stopped for a couple of years. Who other than Logan Webb have the Giants, now that we're seeing a Kyle Harrison, he's struggling, but you look at Landon Roop, you look at Hayden Birdsong, so those are the exceptions. But prior to these guys coming up this year, who have the Giants developed other than Logan Webb?
It's the one guy. It's Logan Webb.
We're talking about Madison Bumgarner. We're talking about Tim Lincecum. We're talking about Matt Cain, right? So I mean, you're talking 10 years ago.
Every guy we're talking about is retired except for Logan Webb. I mean, it's
so there's a reason why the rankings are where they are and why they continue to stay there. They have to have somebody come up and be that kind of spokesman for the farm system. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with what the Giants could do. I mean, like we've talked about all night long, they have so many options. It's just none of these guys have proven to separate from the pack. But I think that's also part of the reason why the Giants farm system is being pegged as not as good as some of these other farm systems, because you don't have these guys separating it with there's no one that's making you just, except for Bryce, really, that's just making you say, oh my God, this guy is clearly on the fast track to the bigs, and they're going to be successful there. There is so many different directions that the Giants could go. I think ultimately though, they just have to make a trade. I saw someone, I think it was Pat in the chat earlier, said a trade similar to what the Warriors did, where you trim some of the excess fat and you go get a Jimmy Butler type guy. Yeah, exact, that right there, and get rid of the glut of the roster. I like that word, glut, and just kind of,
who doesn't like a good glut? Yeah,
and just trim the fat, man. And the team, it's addition by subtraction in a way. I really do think that would be a phenomenal thing for the Giants to do. And honestly, I do think that you could, maybe not right now, but as the season goes on, some of these guys are going to pop, and you could absolutely capitalize on the momentum some of those guys have. Trade at the peak of their value, kind of thing, and go get it done, man. Go get it done. Also, Walt, not to throw a curveball, man, but I think we got to address that. I've seen it a few times. This Joey Bosa stuff, man, it's all over the chat. Maybe we should talk about it real quick.
Yeah, Joey Bosa, really quick. So I haven't seen anything on my phone, but I've been looking at your beautiful face. So I haven't been looking at my phone. But did Joey Bosa get released from the Chargers?
I believe so.
Wow. So he's going to be playing opposite of his brother, right? Is that a good move for the 49ers?
He has to. Yeah. 4 minutes ago, NFL Twitter or NFL on X tweeted out that Chargers are releasing defensive end Joey Bosa. Fun fact, almost every single time that we had Nick Bosa on, I would accidentally refer to him as Joey. Everybody at KNBR, I'm sure. I actually, even one of the days when we had Nick Bosa on the morning show, I actually posted the podcast and everything and titled it "Joey Bosa Joins the Murph and Mac Show."
You did do that. You did do that. We gave you shit for years.
I did do that, and so
I think that's one of the reasons why you're not there anymore.
Probably, man, probably. but you know,
one of the many reasons.
That would be a no-brainer signing for the Niners. They still have like 4 total defensive linemen on their roster right now. Like, it is not looking good. And you have to think. I know the Bosa family isn't in the business of taking pay cuts, but you have to think that he would probably like do what he could do to get in the same building as his brother. That would be super great. Tacky, man. Tacky
just not holding back at all. That's why I love having Tacky in here. It'll be great for the 5 games they're both healthy for. Yeah, that's accurate. It'll be a hell of a 5 games though. When are the 5 games though? Is it at the beginning? Is it at the middle? Is it at the end? We talking playoff push? When are those 5 games? That's the important thing to note there.
Stagger their 5 healthy games. Like maybe you get, Joey for like 5 games in the middle of the season, then you get Nick for like the playoff push at the 5 games at the end kind of thing. And the beginning of the season, the Niners always just, fall on their faces out of the gate anyway. So, I mean, I don't really care if they're ready at that point or not, but I mean, I wouldn't hate it, man. I wouldn't hate it. You got to get back to having, I think the 49ers in general just need to get back to having that they had so many different guys on that roster. And I mean, so many dudes that were signed away. And I mean, just solid players that ended up getting good deals elsewhere, but never really were like the guy anywhere else. So I really hope that they can like beef up, just like get more bodies in the building, man. Like that's basically all they need to do right now. And hopefully, I see Pat's comments. Bosa's having a lot of groin problems, that you never want a groin problem. And
I don't know how confident I am, or like how my perception would change on the 49ers if they were to bring in a Joey Bosa. But that comment, the reason why I brought that up is that I can hear it now. Joey Bosa having a lot of groin problems. You hear Tim Ryan on the call. Oh, there's something wrong with that groin with Joey Bosa just going down after a play.
I was thinking more of the Greg Papa version. So he's got a groin issue, you say?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with groin issues.
Yeah. Joey Bosa, he doesn't have the butt that his brother Nick does.
Have you ever had gonorrhea, John? I have had gonorrhea.
I have had gonorrhea. Yeah, you know what I need to do? I need to start getting those Papa cuts and put them on my board and just play them randomly throughout the show. I think the YouTube chat would definitely be down with Papa drops that we have in the all uncensored too. All uncensored.
Oh man.
I might get myself in trouble. I might have Papa like call the cruise line and be like, well, motherfucker, what are you doing? You're exposing me. What are you doing?
Walter, that's just for us.
Yeah. Cox in his face.
There's a lot of things.
Jimmy Garoppolo steps back and cocks in his face. Dude, that's one of my favorite. He loves when I play that for him too. He's like, "Oh, you guys are so mature."
Oh yeah, Papa the best for maturity on public.
Yeah, why don't you grow up? Yeah, take me off the screen, bro. Dude, I'll never forget that. Oh my god, Papa is incredible. But yeah, no, if I gotta definitely have the Papa drops in here, and they're just all hilarious.
Like Val's comment a lot. Exposed, you say.
Exposed, you say. I'm not even gonna go there. All right, so Papa is definitely making his appearance one way or another, whether it's on the podcast itself or if it's on my soundboard. One way or another, we're going to do it for sure. But yeah, no, Joey Bosa. I mean, that's really interesting, man. To see what the 49ers like does that, what I just said, like does that change the perception for the 49ers? Like, does that make them a better team than what they are? And are they able to go out there and get him? Because I thought that they were really, really restricted. I know there's a lot of, what you can do with restructuring and the salary cap doesn't necessarily exist in the NFL. There's always ways to get around it with bonuses and guarantee money, all that kind of stuff, backloading contracts, all that can change. But I mean, I thought that the 49ers, they didn't really have a lot of wiggle room. Like they were kind of, they were kind of poor in going into this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I get told that every year, and then every year the NFL salary cap gets restructured and get just balloons by a massive. What did it increase by this year? Like damn near $30 million, which is like it's not a quarter. I mean, for that is kind of like a mid to above average tier quarterback that you could just all of a sudden now go sign. Grow the fuck up, Walter.
Yeah. Why don't you grow the fuck up, motherfucker?
but I mean, I have to imagine that Joey Bosa would not cost you an arm and a leg at this point in his career. I honestly, there's not too many defensive linemen out there right now that you could tell me that I wouldn't want the Niners to go get. And with them freeing up the money from Debo, his contract is now not here. It's in Washington, which I think is a good thing for both parties probably at this point in Debo's career. But the one thing that I just need them to do is go sign defensive linemen and go sign offensive linemen as well, because offensive line was just as bad as the defensive line was last year. And then it's all predicated on getting Dre Greenlaw back in the building too, which I think that every day that goes by, I kind of feel a little bit more like maybe we've seen Dre Greenlaw's last game in a 49er uniform. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I do get the vibe that he kind of wants to be the guy on the defense. And as long as Fred Warner is there, he's not ever going to be the guy. He's not going to wear the green dot. I think he wants that. I think he wants that for his career.
Can he wear the green dot?
Can he wear the green dot, motherfucker?
I only want him if he can wear the green dot. That's what he used to say. But can he wear the green dot, John? Oh, dude, really quickly. That would suck with Dre Greenlaw if he's not on the 49ers. I think that is really to have somebody play off ball. I think that helps Fred Warner be who he is, right? So I think that is a really important detail that the 49ers really need to look at, because I feel like the defense was never the same this year because of the void that Fred Warner had to be everywhere, and then sometimes would find himself out of place, and then he just eventually wore himself down. You know what I mean?
He played with a broken ankle for like
I feel like having somebody opposite of Warner is definitely. I mean, we talk about being opposite of Bosa, and we know that the game is getting after the quarterback. That's how the Eagles won against Patrick Mahomes, right? So we understand that aspect of it. But when you look to the 49ers and what has made them successful, having Dre with Warner, to just patrol and eliminate an entire portion of the field, I think made the team much better than what they were, and you saw the result of that. But going back to Tacky really quick, talking about Papa, he's not a beer guy. I don't think I've ever seen Papa drink beer. I have seen him drink a lot of Jameson.
Whiskey, John.
Dude, when we were in Vegas, he was just ordering shots of Jameson like left and right. I think I've said that before on the podcast, but just letting you know. That dude gets after it. He definitely gets after it. I'm very interested to know, because I still haven't heard the stories of Indy when Silver was out there with Papa. I'm very interested to see what the alcohol intake was for that trip, because Papa, he just doesn't know when to stop. He just keeps going, man. He just keeps going. Give me another one, Walter. Go to the bar and open up another round on me.
What do you mean they're closing the bar? Don't you know who I am?
I made the bar. They can't close it down. I'm the owner.
How much does your bar cost? I'll buy it right now.
Dude, I remember we went to, what is that, Harrington's, right next to Royal Exchange.
Yep.
We went there for St. Patty's Day, and he texted me. He was like, "Oh yes, tell them to put it on the Papa tab." So I, very dumbly of me, we went to Harrington's bar, and I went to the bartender. I was like, "Hey man, can I get an IPA? Put it on the Papa tab." And he's like, "The what?" I was like, "The Papa tab." He's like, "Who?" I said, Greg Papa, the Papa tab. Do you have that? Do you have that? He's like, I don't know who that is. I was like, ah, shit. And then I texted Papa. I was like, Papa, where are you? Are you upstairs? He's like, no, I'm on Lombard. I'm like, that's not anywhere near here. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Let me out to dry.
Of course, Greg would be out in the marina. That's very awkward.
yeah, he was. He was like, yeah, I'm on Lombard Street. Do you want to come by? I'm like, no, because by the time I get there, you're gonna be at Harrington's. I don't know. Yeah, it's like, where's Waldo? Where's Papa? That's. I invented the Where's Waldo books. It was actually called Where's Papa. Then they changed it to Waldo. I don't know why. Oh, dude. Anyway.
I do want to get back to just real quick on the Drake Greenlaw thing. It is so imperative. The reason he is so imperative to the 49ers success is because I mean, look at what the 49ers edge containment was like this last year. Just god awful. I've never seen them get gashed for so many outside runs. You remember that the ending to the Miami game when Achane just took that one to the house, just bouncing a off tackle run like that. It was nothing special. That does not happen if Drake Greenlaw is also out there on the field right now, because he can't block both those guys. And it is so important to have someone like, I love Fred Warner. I think Drake Greenlaw is a little bit more intimidating than Fred Warner. I think Drake Greenlaw gives you that like fear factor on defense, and that matters, man. Like, guys think twice before like trying to lower the shoulder and go toe to toe with Drake Greenlaw. They're gonna make some business decisions out there on the field, and if the Niners can't re-sign him, man.
Sorry, I was reading a text from Greg Papa. He was like, "Stop using my voice, motherfucker." No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, yeah, no. I mean, Drake Greenlaw. It's going to be really interesting to see what they end up doing with the 49ers, and yeah, if this is the end of the road for him, I mean, damn, does Joey Bosa fix that? Does the pass rush getting to the quarterback? I mean, one thing that could help fix that and the patrolling of the middle of the field is that if you actually have a pass rush. So, I mean, Joey Bosa, I mean, we were joking about it, but it's kind of true in that the dude can't stay healthy. But is it because that he's been used and utilized as being an every down guy? Do you put him into a rotation? Does that make him does that make him more effective? Like, could you imagine having healthy, right, at the same time, having healthy Nick Bosa and healthy Joey Bosa on a third down pass rush? I mean, that would be pretty interesting to see. So we'll have to follow that along. I mean, NFL free agency starts next week. Are you doing any football pods next week or
there is actually a development happening at Locked On. I can't speak much about it right now, but down the line, I'm hearing some rumblings that there might be some more Triple E doing some more football coverage. We'll see. Stay tuned. That's that will probably happen sometime around the start of the NFL season. So we're a little ways away from that right now. That seems like an eternity in a sports calendar type.
It does, yeah.
But stay tuned. We got some irons in the fire.
All right, hell yeah, man. Well, really quickly before I let you go and we get on out of here, and I know you ate your dinner with the kettle chips. That's how we started this conversation. 808 passion for the pastime. Yeah, the crinkle cuts. Yeah, we were talking about the kettle chips. Let us know, Tacky. Let us know, where do you stand on kettle chips? We had a whole discussion at the beginning of the pod.
Habanero lime kettle chips. These are the best kettle chips.
Dude.
All of them are great options, but these are the best ones.
I like the salt and pepper ones. I do like the salt and pepper. I think I'm thinking of the right ones. They're the kettle chip.
The black bag.
Yeah, it's like black and gray, but then it's like a wavy chip though. It's not just yeah.
You're right. You know, these chips are also wavy chips, the habanero lime. They're
not all wavy chips, right? Some of them are just like straight up like a potato.
Like cups. Yeah. Like the salt and vinegar, that the blue bag, that one's just a puff one.
Yeah, that's a little puff. Yeah, I like salt and vinegar, but I don't like the salt and vinegar kettle chips. I like the salt and vinegar Lay's chips.
Ooh, interesting take. Take. I can't get behind that one. The Lay's chips, I mean, they're just too thin. Like, they're just too thin for me. I like the extra crunch on the kettle chip. Plus,
well, you know me, I'm old. A hard chip sometimes it messes with my teeth. I can't do it all the time because I'm an old man.
Like I said, man, I like simple, natural like simple things. I'm a simple man. I like simple ingredients. I know how to pronounce all of the words on the back of this bag. I cannot do the same thing with a Lay's potato chip bag. You know, they got like some, I don't know, some crazy, like weird, like chemical concoction things that they put in there, which do make the chips taste pretty good. I just, you know, I'm a simple guy. Just give me the simple ingredients, the simple chips, put them in the oven, bake them, make, you know, delicious. Perfect. Don't need anything else.
Where do you stand on Ruffles?
Oh, Ruffles are actually very solid. I like Ruffles, especially if you got like a dip. Like Ruffles is like a top tier dip chip. Everyone likes to, you know, tout the Tostito scoops. Dude, when have you ever used a Tostito scoop and it hasn't broken when you've gone to take a scoop? It almost always breaks, dude. It is so disappointing. Then you got to get another one to like fish out the other chip. It just becomes a whole process and ordeal. Just give me a Fritos. Fritos are good dip chips or a Ruffles. Fritos, you know, it's got to be a specific type of dip because they are a corn chip, so it's a little bit different than the Ruffles. Plus, Ruffles got all the flavor options that you want to, like sour cream and onion Ruffles are top tier. I actually think I got some of those in my pantry right now as well.
I don't know if you saw any of that, but my cat just made an appearance on my lap. Missy came in, had the tail in the face, so I didn't hear anything that you said. But but early on, you were talking about Tostitos, right?
Yeah,
I like. Have you had the Fritos scoops though? The Fritos scoops
are solid. That's what I'm saying.
Those are solid. Those are solid
because they're a corn chip. They don't go with everything. You know what I mean? You gotta like mix and match your chip to your dip to like complement it. If you got a nice bean dip, oh yeah, Frito scoops are absolutely money. Absolutely money.
What's your go-to dip? Like what do you prefer? Do you go like a guac? Do you go just salsa? Do you go bean?
Well, first of all, you just hit a hot button topic. I just want to say everybody.
No. I'm gonna mute you right now.
Who puts eggs in their guacamole? This guy brought guacamole to the station with eggs in it, and I have never been so upset in my life.
It was delicious.
To tell me that he makes a better guacamole than any person in the world. This man is Latino, and he put eggs in his guacamole. What is wrong with him?
What you need to know is that if you go to Central America, damn it, they put eggs in their freaking guac. All right, it's not that crazy. It is not that crazy.
I have never heard this before ever in my life.
Yes, it is a thing. It is a thing.
This is blasphemy, and I see what.
Look, now everybody's turning on me. Now everybody's turning on me, and they're revoking my Latin card because of you. Damn it!
This is what happened last time too. The chat all got on my side with my team in our fantasy draft. That was our make believe fantasy draft. You just absolutely shit the bed in that one. But I'm just saying, man.
Wait, what was that? Last time when we did the draft.
When I won the FaceTime at the end, around the horn style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I digress. The best, I'm gonna put you on game right now, and everybody else watching in the chat. Best dip. I swear to God, this is the best dip you can get, and it's so easy. 3 ingredients: sun-dried tomatoes, pesto, and feta. You put the feta on the bottom, you put the sun-dried tomatoes in the middle, and you put the pesto on top. Oh my God, man, it is amazing. It is like top tier dip, and it's so easy to make. Takes like 5 seconds. You can sometimes buy like store-bought versions of them. So much better if you just buy the ingredients and just like take the 30 seconds to assemble it yourself. It's not even cooking, it's assembling. And it's going to taste way better than Walter's egg guacamole.
It's really good. It's really good. You know what? Next time that we have a meetup with the Passion for the Pastimers, I'm going to make a little batch, and I'll give you guys a little bit to try. But I mean, you know, I got to make it that day because it has egg in it, so you can't leave it out too long. But it's good. It's good. Damn it. I'm good.
I'm looking at Mike Val, man, and me and Mike Val are like in lockstep, dude. He's plugging Celia's right now, restaurant on Judah, and dude, it's like Mike Val already knows where I live in San Francisco. That is right down the street from me. Celia's is awesome. AJ, yes.
Oh, dude. All right, so everybody's chiming in on the guac conversation now. Thank you, Eric. Really appreciate it. Everyone hates me for it. AJ Cruz says no, that's okay, Walter. I think, you know, because AJ is a huge supporter of mine. Right up there with Rockin' and Tacky. I mean, all you guys, Mike Val. But AJ usually sides with me, right? He usually sides with me. But this has now caused a friction in our relationship. I can see it. I can see it now. Tacky chiming in.
guacamole then. You know,
Tacky chiming in. Which, by the way, I mean, we're talking about the guac off that we did 2 years ago. I am still convinced that Mike did not make that guac. I'm convinced that he went to a Mexican restaurant and he bought the guac and he brought it in and he just put it in a freaking Tupperware. That's how I think that it went down.
There's no possible way that a man who wears shorts with a NASCAR hat and a button-up shirt to work can make guacamole like that. I'm just putting that out there right now. Absolutely zero chance.
No, not at all. But Tacky chiming in. I try it Walter's way, but I'm coming in with low expectations. Appreciate you, Tacky. That's the nicest thing that you've said all night. What else we got going? Walter's gonna give us a gonna give us churro. No, don't knock it till you try it, Rockin'. Come on, bro. And thank you, Rockin', for changing your name back. Jesus, man, you threw me through a loop yesterday with the name change. It confused. I didn't know who the hell I was talking to for the whole show. And then I realized afterwards when you messaged me that it was you. So my apologies, bro. Let's see what else we got going on here. No kiddo guaco. Dude, AJ Cruz is killing me. Once again, I think Eric's show is going forward. This is Eric's show. Yeah, you can just take it from here, Erik. This is your show now. I have no host responsibilities, or I don't own this show anymore. You own it. You've killed me, man.
Oh man, two appearances in a row. I've taken your show from you, Walt. I do apologize.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. It's you know. Let's see how they deal with it when I leave. Should I leave again? Should I leave again and see how it goes?
FaceTime? Oh, okay. Well, here we go. I guess it's the Triple E show now. I just want to let everybody know tonight is a Survivor Wednesday, and if you have not started the new season of Survivor, if Walt's a Survivor, like he's a baby Survivor head, but like I am all in on Survivor this year. It looks super fun. I'm rooting for my guy, Joe, the firefighter, dude. He looks just like such a genuine dude. There's no way he's going to win because he's too much of a physical threat. If you guys aren't watching Survivor, go watch Survivor. That's pretty much all I have to say for my FaceTime today. And Walt's just not going to come back. Is he just not in the chat anymore?
I was just letting them see how life was without me, so that they can appreciate me. Damn it, just so that they can appreciate me for just a couple of seconds.
Man,
yeah. Which, by the way, hold on, I didn't know that you were a Survivor head. It is Survivor Wednesday. I'm gonna go out there and watch it. You're a Survivor head?
Absolutely, my guy. Who are you? Who are you hitching your wagon to this season? I already proclaimed Joe. You can't take Joe. He's my guy already. So you got to pick somebody else.
Joe, I mean, damn, it's kind of a little too early. We're one episode in.
But I'm planting the flag.
Can we wait till the merger? Can we wait till the merger? Hannah chiming in. I'm here for Survivor and Chip Talk. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, no, you struck a chord, man. We're talking Survivor. Hell yeah. Oh, Tacky doesn't like Survivor. Come on, bro. What are you doing?
Tacky. You gotta get with the vibe, man. You gotta get with the vibe.
I can't hitch myself to a wagon of somebody. Not even 2 episodes in. It's just 1 episode that has happened.
I'm telling you, man. I like this. I like this Joe guy.
You like Joe, huh?
Joe the firefighter. That's my guy.
What about the stunt guy? You like the stunt guy?
He's a little cocky, man. Like he's already
he irritates the shit out of me. I'm just telling you right now. He irritates the shit out of me.
Merge unless he starts winning a bunch of challenges. That guy not even making the merge, man.
I'd vote him out immediately. Like as soon as they lose, I would vote him. I don't care how much of a physical advantage he brings to my squad. I'm voting him out immediately because he just irks me so much.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That's how I'd play Survivor. If you get on my last nerve, like I'm kicking you out immediately. I take it extremely personal.
So you're telling me that you would have voted me out first off the island? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. You wouldn't make it past first tribal if you were on my team. Yeah, no chance. Yeah. You're gone, bro.
Well, no chance you're going to tribal council on that first night if you got me on the team. I'm gonna put the team on my back. Darren Sharper, the hardest hitting safety in the league. I'm gonna put you on my back.
Darren Sharper.
Oh man,
Greg Jennings, put the team on my back though. Oh, dude, that's one of the greatest videos.
Greatest of all time.
You know what you have to do just to get everybody to vote me out? What you have to do is all you got to tell them how I make guac, and then they think that I'm a psychopath.
Easy. I'll just slowly sabotage you, and I got enough dirt on Walt that we can slowly sabotage him. I'll
Thank you.
convince somebody else that you really like it when someone throws water in your face and that you think it's the funniest thing in the world, and you will immediately vote that person out before you vote me out.
I wanted to kill you that day, by the way.
I know you did. It was a total accident. I still feel bad about that. That was not on purpose at all.
Look who's chiming in. Triple E would be the first one voted out.
Shots being fired from the room next door, man.
Oh, I love it. I love how our ladies are chiming in. Oh, look, Hannah gave me a 25-minute warning, so we could talk for 25 minutes.
I've been keeping an eye on this time as we go on.
We have 25 more minutes to go, Eric.
Yeah, but we got to get the snacks ready. You got to get the beverages.
No, I know.
Man, this is all time. You know what I mean?
Which, by the way, last thing on Survivor, I think we're done talking Giants. We can talk some more next week because, I mean, it's spring training, so nothing really matters. But one more thing on Survivor. This past weekend, I played a Survivor game, and it was
board game?
now knowing that it's kind of like a card game. But now knowing that you are a Survivor head, I might have to include you into, because you can it can be 6 people and you get two tribal members with you, right? Or two 2 tribes, right? Or not 2 tribes, but two members of your tribe. So that's their lives essentially. But essentially you have 12 people in the game. So if you go just one, you have one life, like actual Survivor, you play it with 12 people, it can get really interesting. It can get interesting real quick.
I've never played it, but I have seen the advertisements for it. It looks super fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm 100% down.
It's a lot of fun. And the way that we were playing it, or the way that I was thinking about it afterwards, was because there's like tribal cards, and you go to tribal elimination, and then you kind of like give your cases, right, for who should be voted out, kind of like a normal tribal. But I think the one thing to change it up or to mix it up that wasn't included in the game, when you get to a tribal, you have an immunity challenge. Like you play like a side game off to the side, and then you can win immunity.
Yeah, dude, I'm super
just nerding out on this now.
Yeah, dude, I'm all in on the Survivor board game, man. I just think, like, you know, with my weird schedule, it's sometimes hard for me to accumulate that many people in one space at a time to play a board game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We'll definitely have to set it up. Now knowing that you are a Survivor head, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that you were a Survivor head. But love that game. Rockin' New Era chiming in. The last thing before we get on out of here. Don't trust Walter with the snacks. And then Tacky says that I can bring beer as long as it's not home brew.
Yeah, Walter.
These guys are killing me.
Here with some eggs in it.
Oh yeah, Tacky with egg beer from Walter. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna end it there. Eric, dude, really appreciate you stopping by. 90 minutes in the bag as always. We could never talk for just 30 or 45 minutes. We could never do that. Even when we were doing the football podcast before, we would end up talking for like an hour and 20 minutes. When we would start it kind of became a riff where we were like, all right, we're gonna go 45 minutes, and then hour and 20 minutes later we're still talking.
Yeah. This is very, very on brand for us. Very on brand.
All right, man. Well, really appreciate you stopping by, and let me go out to the Tacky just kills me. Eric, you the man. Walter, you are Walter. That's how we're gonna end this one. Eric, really appreciate you stopping by, and good luck to you on all of your Locked On postcasts. I think you have another one coming up tomorrow, following the Warriors against the Nets, right?
Yep, the last game of this 5-game road trip, the Warriors in sole possession of the 6th seed. The Clippers lost again last night to the Lakers, or what was that? To the Suns, dude, in that amazing 20-plus point comeback for the Suns. I'm all in on the Warriors, man. Every day that goes by, I think that the Warriors are legitimately I'm going to sound insane saying this, but a championship contender. I believe Draymond Green's flag plant statement over the All-Star break when he declaratively said, and everybody laughed, that the Warriors are a championship contender now. Jimmy Butler has completely transformed this team.
Really quickly before we get on out, Rockin' New Era chiming in. Eric, you to man. Walter, you to egg. And hold on, this is going to start a ripple effect.
I don't even want
that
to go there.
we're not going into it, but that is for next time, Eric. We have to dive into this. What in the hell is going on?
Oh my God! Just a house divided. The Tripoli household is
I love it.
Shambles right now. Next time I come on the show, I will give you the play-by-play rundown of how the morning that I discovered that Luka was traded to the Lakers, because I went to bed early the night before and the news got released at like 10 p.m. And the next morning, oh my God, what a scene. I will absolutely save that for next time.
Dude, that's incredible. Bhavna just coming in here, just dropping bombs. Dude, that's incredible way to end the show. So Erik Engle of Locked On Postcast, really appreciate you stopping by, man. We'll continue to do this all season long. I can't wait till we actually get some games. Can't wait till real baseball, to where we can actually break down some stuff. That'll be a lot of fun. So we'll continue to do that moving forward. So Erik, you have a good one. Everybody else that was in the YouTube chat tonight that checked it out, if it was your first time, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to set your notifications. Passion for the Pastime. We're here Monday through Thursday. I am Walter Yucataceta. That's Erik Engle stopping by. Dude, really appreciate you stopping by. And everybody else, Pat H, Tacky, Rockin' New Era, Mike Val, Lori Galvin, even Bhavna, Hannah, everybody that stopped by today. Pat H, I think I mentioned him earlier. AJ was in here also. All you guys, really appreciate you stopping by. What's up?
I think I saw my mom in the chat up
I did see Mama J. I did see Mama J in there too. So what's up, Mama J? Really appreciate it.
Me for getting hurt all the time, man. I just can't get away from all angles of my life. This is the life of Triple E, man. If you wonder why I am how I am, just look at who's around me all the time. Just look at who's around me.
Yeah, you are a product of your environment. So you guys have a good one. Be safe. We'll be talking to you again tomorrow. See what's going on with the Giants. But Erik, really appreciate you, man. And everybody else, have a good one. Be safe and go watch Survivor. And don't knock the eggs in the guac until you try it. Damn it. You guys have a good one. Be safe. Talk to you then.